Hello and welcome back, my friends. Well, it's February 6, 2023, and our fruit trees are already beginning to awaken. Here we've got an 𝗙𝗃𝗻 tree beginning to blossom, and it's just humming with bees at the moment. Such a sight to see here in early February. So the wife and I are out in the garden today planting out fava beans that we saved from previous harvests here in the garden. Now, if you're not already growing fava beans, my friends, you are truly missing out. This versatile crop is not only edible and ornamental, but it can help to build soil and release nitrogen into your garden. So the first step for planting in this area, I just leveled it out and raked back some of that top layer of mulch. But most of the wood chips in my garden now have composted down to the point where it's okay if some of it gets mixed into the soil. If you mix it in too early during the decomposition process, a lot of that wood will then begin to tie up some nitrogen in the soil. But after a couple years of wood chips breaking down, you can mix it into the soil, which is what I did here. And now I'm spreading out a 44-pound bag of azomite, which is rock dust minerals. Minerals are the building blocks of health in plants and in humans, my friends. So by adding in these trace minerals into the soil, it's going to feed our crops so that they're extra healthy, which in turn will then feed us and make us healthy. So I'm bringing in some minerals into this garden bed, and that's going to do it as far as amendments go. The fava bean is actually working as our fertilizer, since I'll be thinning our crops later from the nitrogen root nodules that form on the fava bean root balls. So fava bean is a cool weather crop and can survive temperatures down to 16 degrees Fahrenheit. So many gardeners around the United States could be growing this crop. The fava beans we're growing initially came from Peru. It's the Cuscan super yellow variety, very rare variety. We just started out with a few seeds, and now we've got literally thousands. But you don't need to seek out a special variety. You can just head on over to your local healthy grocery store, go to the bulk bin area, and look for either fava or broad beans, as they're also called. And the ones you get from the grocery store should grow for you just fine as well. Much cheaper option than buying smaller packs online. So the fava bean isn't actually a bean, it's in the 𝗙 and 𝗏 family. And it benefits from a treatment prior to planting with some rhizobium inoculant. It's just a little powder that you add to some non-chlorinated water and soak your fava beans. You can also do it with your peas and your pole beans for a couple hours prior to planting. The rhizobium inoculant will cling to the seed and create a symbiotic relationship with the soil that forms those nitrogen root nodules. The good news is after you've done this a few times in a planting area, you don't necessarily have to add new rhizobium every year. This year we're just putting the seeds directly in the ground because we've already had favas growing in this area that were treated with the rhizobium, so that should be present in the soil at this time.
Only like that. How easy.
So we're just using everyday hand tools, a shovel and a manual mini tiller to get this garden bed going. The soil in this area is looking wonderful. After years of weeding and working this land, we are finally getting to a point here where it's just becoming so easy now to turn over a plot and get a new garden bed going that all of our work from the past is now really beginning to pay off. So the plan for this bed long term throughout the year is to get our fava beans started now, and then a little bit later as we approach warmer weather, we'll plant out some corn in this area. So I'm going to have a corn patch here, and at that time I'll chop back some of the fava for the nitrogen fixation and leave some of the other plants to mature as a ground cover and as a companion plant to the corn. I'll tell you, the wife and I have come up with a great system of teamwork in the garden. Her smaller stature makes it easier for her to get closer to the ground and do some of the groundwork, so to speak. I myself do the digging, the heavy lifting, pruning, and the stuff that needs to get done a little up higher. Now I want to remind you guys of the challenge that I put out there this year, and that is to try to get out to your garden every day for at least 10 minutes, weather permitting, and work towards your goal of creating your dream garden. Now, also think of it this way. If there's 2 of you, you and your wife, or maybe 3 of you, maybe you got a kid, a teenager that can come out and help you as well, then 10 minutes times 3 people would be 30 minutes worth of man hours. So the more the merrier. Get the family out in the garden with you if you can. Heck, even invite the chicken. She'll do a little bit of tilling and bug picking as well. So that's it, guys. We broke ground in this area of the garden. We have planted it out with our early season crop. I look forward to sharing with you guys the updates on how things continue to grow in this area. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. New uploads every week, sometimes every day, and we're always giving you updates on all the different things growing on around here. So with that, have yourself a great rest of the day. Until next time, this is Dan and Alice from plantabundance.com. Take care. We'll be talking to you again soon.